Hello, Collective, to a timeless reading. Please bear in mind a few things before we get started. I am Master Seventh that reads these energies. Should you desire to know what kind of services I have to offer, feel free to check out the description box below. It will give you access to a link and see whether or not your intuition takes you to a path that leads you towards connecting with me, whether that is for a remote alignment or even a reading of some kind, okay? And furthermore, there's more links in the description box towards my other channel where it's more detail orientated, if you would want to call it that way. So if you feel like being pulled to go over to that channel, feel free to do so. All right, as always, feminine and masculine energies are non-gender specific, and past, present, or future energetical timelines could always come forth within a reading. Please bear in mind this is a collective general reading. This is not a one-to-one. So use your discernment to take all of that which resonates with you and leave whatever, if not all, behind if it doesn't. All right. I don't think I'm taking all those cards. We're starting off with Venus, feminine energy. You don't have to be looking any type of way to be able to resonate with feminine energy. You're either attracted towards feminine energy or you attract feminine energy. But there's really no way, however else the pendulum of femininity can swing besides being an active energy. It is a nourishing energy. It is a thought-provoking energy. It is a caretaking energy. It is literally giving your hand out to possibly be of service of some kind, generating kindness amongst one another, and knowing how to appreciate creation for the femininity that she is. Number 4 is important here because if femininity is in the ether to be felt at this very moment, then we can conceptualize our mind that we are in charge of our temple. And 4 is the foundational number to give us the boundaries needed to feel a version of home for ourselves first, wherever that may be, whenever that may be, and a place to always resort back to when one gets lost when they move or venture out of the temple of their being. There are different symbolisms throughout here. So it doesn't matter, again, what symbolizes the idea of triggering, again, the resonancy towards femininity. Because essentially what carries through all the symbolism is light anyway. And however that light hits the person or the thing that's in the light's way can make the thing that's in the light's way remind itself that they are absorbing the energy of the light. And what brings that into resonancy, again, via choice of the self to accept or not, is the decisions you have within yourself to trust the very beings and the things that you correspond with and towards as you make and build connections. How you resonate to the connection of everything there is to the webbing of it all. Do you have, I haven't seen this card. Looking down here, it's a black square. I was like looking up the whole entire time. So we're going to keep this back here because I wasn't really ready. But that's where the energy is being pulled from. The hand comes up. What is underneath that? The temple, the square. That's crazy. I honestly did not see that. But the temple 4 of the mind is the foundational space. What are you going to fulfill that? What is it? Where does it come from? Where is it going? But anyway, going back to here, because she's not really done here. My camera angle. So the way to uphold your own creativity is to believe in whatever netting you are able to move on this earth. Whether you have 2 feet planted on the ground, wheels getting you around, however you move, 1-footed, 2-footed, it is a part of the overall metronome of existence. And this metronome is triggered as being the baseline to what it is that is possible and how you, the being part of this metronome, will react to every footprint, to every step you take. By will, by force, existential, which is inevitability. You can be standing and reap rewards or consequences for remaining still, which holds the same value of balance of possibilities when you're in movement. There's a finite way the pendulum swings, that the only way it remains out of the way or you out of the way of it is if you can control the magic of your being, the ingenuity to what the black hole is responsible for. Because essentially it's assumed that you came here having dived into a black hole and wanting to search for an alignment of some kind to be able to reach an infinitum of some feeling that can bring you to feeling like you are not suffering with chronic pain, depression, and just general unhappiness. Questioning what is, how things are possible, will things change, world politics, community politics, family politics, friendship politics, and work politics. What is responsible for this energy? And what is responsible for this energy is everything that resonated with this energy previously. Because what you're speaking of and feeling of into existence to be true, if you're leaning forward into it, it's meaning you're the light coming out of the darkness. You emit the light and the light comes from darkness. So is the void to be feared? No, it's not. It's not to be feared. It's to be walked, it's to be climbed, and it's to give yourself permission that in this vicinity you can build a connection with the number 4 of your being and become into secure foundation for yourself on your own time, on your own free will. And it says against nature, because it feels like you're going against a grain, which is exactly how the ether will allow you to feel that you feel and have the consequences of being in the way, literally, in the way within existence. It is against nature to have emotions. There's a crisis in figuring out what you are within the pendulum swinging. without realizing you are the pendulum swinging. And the pendulum is more concerned of being able to swing, whether identifying itself as what it is. Yet it does desire to be respected once it figures out what it likes to be answered to, or what will it take for it to answer to itself. Hence why people can change their names or decide to be called something different, even if on piece of paper when they come into this realm, into this existence, that they are to be called something else by said parent, by said adult. In a way, it takes a form of identity, a way of possibility for a being to become what they feel, or to even bridge the gap towards desire and acceptance. Page of Cups, learning that emotions isn't everything. And sometimes the most daunting things in life are the ones that you become so emotional with. Six of Pentacles with the High Priestess. Knowing that in those moments, feeling in those moments, inevitability comes. That inevitability comes triggered by and forced by that of which you cannot see, that of which you most likely don't really know how to bring into a language to, how to bring tonality and words to that emotion. It can be in the dark side of things in learning how to cope with feeling, learning how to live with pain, how to live with betrayal, how to live with loss, and finding a path. And then it can be on the other spectrum of not being sure why you don't feel secure at feeling home, despite all the things that you've come across to this very moment and have been successful in achieving. Why is swinging in the pendulum of existence feel nauseating, feeling symptomatic? And why in that moment do I have to resort to another person who is of perceived expertise or professionalism to get my answer? Why can't I get my answer any other way? These questions of mysticism offer a way to glance at inopportunistic situations that come off across like a peel and something that you want to touch, and thinking about whether or not you really want to buy it. But then you realize where the manufacturer is, where it comes from, and then you're like, I don't really know if I really resonate with how it was made, or the ingredients within a package of consumption of food or drinking. I don't really know if I understand the language that I'm about to integrate with myself and put in the abyss of not knowing for my body to break it down. Why are these not questions that come into the existence to help this energy achieve what more or less you desire from the unknown of your universe? Light, flavor, sovereignty, freedom, the ability to feel unhinged, unbound. What does it take to build a lasting relationship with that of which you don't see, to be able to trust, and that she has an energy to whisper back to you that what you've been preaching along this way has been against creation of femininity. So she has been ignored for all this time, so she is the loudest this time and these times to come. Hence why some may resort to finding a masculine, searching a masculine energy and feeling its absence. you are never absent if you keep the thought ingenuity of self going. You're never absent to achieve the human experience as long as you show up to your own human experience with what it is that you have left to discover emotionally, disconnect yourself from physically, and process those choices of having done so. Diving into situations without worrying if you're going to drown, and knowing that if you feel the symptoms of drowning, that it's not chaos in that moment that will guide you to the light. These are the energies that have been fruitful in knowing that the water element of giving and nurture, and the aspects spoken above of the Venus card that are accepted and strived for and mentored for and sought out for. If you stand in the truth of this time, you have become the King of Cups energy. You have translated the vibrations that which you felt from feminine creation, and being able to stand up towards it and look it in the face within accepting your own emotional self, and thus subtly building lasting emotional relationships with people, or at least being able to benefit in knowing that there are likable things that other people reap their rewards in having had a connection with you. You don't know what it is, but the king understands how his kingdom is nurturing the respect that they have for him. Five of Cups, we are at war with ourselves, trying to figure out how the mind accepts hearing feminine and masculine energy, and where the soul of imagination takes you to bring that into symbolism for yourself. And in that, we're all in the same pool of misfortunes and fortunes. It's called humanity. It's called being a Homo sapien. It's called being human. It's called being ashamed of the species of man. And that man is non-gender specific to just being feminine and masculine, besides just being feminine and masculine. And however it wants to express itself has permission to exist within that expression. Has the right to express and live within that expression. Feeling the fire of ember, allowing to dive into the depths of rawness and come out the other side. And you brought yourself there. You're taking yourself there. Someone's playing like hopscotch, double dutch, or reminiscing the time spent on like the recess area, playground, school. We have Prince of Cups energy here, so it's like the Knight of Cups energy. There's movement. There's movement of discovery. There's movement to allow yourself to hone in femininity and feel it. That it doesn't look like the statuesque way of what you think a woman is or femininity is to depict femininity. It's how femininity makes you feel, makes you react, makes you engage, makes you become. And then as much as you pay attention to that, you pay attention to the masculine attributes that push you to become something, that push you to accept how much you're going to show up to life. Are you going to wake up despite not knowing? Are you going to get your things done although you're sad? Are you going to show up for those appointments although it's difficult and painful to get yourself there? What action-oriented belief systems do you have that are going to push you to accept that you are the maker of your own magic? And that process of allowing that to flow is how you're showing up for yourself to address that you've accepted the human experiences because you don't shy away from being present. Five of Coins, guilt. King of Wands. At this point in the reading, you might be feeling a lot of energy within yourself. It could be hinting or coming from the category and the subject of guilt. Someone even having indoctrinated you in certain ways that you don't know how to navigate up to this point because they're coming from or came from indoctrinating you from their versions of what they feel guilty of and about. What it does, it catapults you in an inevitable void. But the problem with this is that the challenge for you to see it as a positive is that you get to dictate how much this feels comfortable to you, for you to live in existence. And once that aha moment comes up in life, you take yourself into the position as the Knight of Cups energy and moving towards guiltiness, because you understand that guiltiness makes you feel this passionate energy, the King of Wands energy. Accepting that what the King energy did before is push you into recognizing the outcome of what it means to live around you, to exist in knowing you. And you have a state of claim to represent yourself for that. And when that shows up, it's not to feel guilty. It's to affirm that you are meeting your guilt. And once you accept the journey that guilt taught you, what is next? What does guiltiness teach you? What does guiltiness teach you? Abundance. Can't show these cards for too long. Forgot. Censored me. It may censor me. Alright. Abundance comes 8 of Coins. And who shows up receiving it? The Prince of Swords. Which where you were in questioning mode and action and positive and negative and being in that whirlpool and facing all the challenges of playing that Marco Polo with yourself, you've reached a level of abundance and upholding yourself to a certain type of courage. The question is, what is taking you there besides yourself, right? Besides femininity, what is it besides you, besides masculinity? What is the trick to it all? What is the message from it all? What's the purpose of it all? Ten of Swords. Feeling the betrayal, putting an end to it, and learning how to let it go. All right, collective. I'll leave the messages where they are. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. I ask that you consider subscribing or liking my video. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.